Welcome, everyone, to Totally Whiskey and Wine. I'm your host, Jason, and with me, as always, is James, our intermediate, and Zach, our industry professional. Tonight, we are going to review a bottle of 2018 Bravante Cabernet Sauvignon. So, without further ado, what score did we give it? Drum roll, please. $70. So, Zach, why don't you tell us a little bit about this 2018 Bravante Cabernet Sauvignon?
Alrighty, folks. So Bravante is nestled in the early sections of Mount Powell, so on the left side of the Napa Valley. In particular, they're most closely proximate to the Cakebread cellars. So they've got a pretty long and storied history starting in 1996, so just slightly older than I am, although I'm exactly the same age as their vines, apparently. So that's fun. But this particular wine is 96% Cabernet Sauvignon, 2.5% Malbec, and 1.5% Petit Verdot. So not quite a Meritage, but you're 2 grapes away. It's going to give it a more dark and inky texture to the wine. And you'll see that, well, you guys won't see, but we see it's a very, very, very dark and hard to see through wine. Clearly, it was either lightly filtered or non-filtered at all to keep it with your more Bordeaux style wines in general. But yeah, it's a little bit about Bravante.
All right. So we said we scored it a 70. So how do we score things? Well, we break it down into 4 categories: the nose, the mouthfeel, the flavor, and finally the finish. Each one of us, we blind taste the sample from our bottle, and then we rank it from 0 to 25 points in each of the categories. Add all that up to get a score up to 100, and then we average out our scores to get our total. So that's how we do it. So now let's talk about why we rated things the way we did. I'll go ahead and start out with the nose. So for the nose, to be honest, I couldn't really identify any of the smells. It was there. It didn't smell bad, but I just couldn't identify anything personally. But that's just me. I ended up giving it a 15.
Probably the better one to go next. I had a hard time with this one as well. I didn't know how much it cost before I put out any of my ratings, so I don't want to try and let any of that steer it. I got just initial impression, dry. Dry smelled dry. I'm not a wine expert, so I don't know that this should have been a dry or an average. So it definitely comes dry to me. I gave like a little bit of a hay bale-y kind of thing to dry, and then I gave like a prune fruit sort of note. It's like a prune fruit, not as heavy grape. It's more like a pruney kind of. I think it's like a prune dark sort of on the nose there, and that was an 18 for me is what I rated.
All right.
So
all right, dope. So I rated it a 21 on the nose, and this may explain a little bit of the things you're smelling here. But I got notes of blackberry, cassis, oak, and pencil box, which pencil box is a way to break down the smell of graphite, and then cedar. It's a kind of a way of combining those smells. So very woody on the nose. That may be why you're getting a little bit of that musty smell is the pencil.
yeah, I call it like hay bale, kind of like hay bale, not like not like cut grass or anything like that. Like you go into a barn with fresh hay, not straw. Straw has a different smell. Hay has that's just what's familiar to me that may smell that way. That's the word I give it.
Yeah, kind of earthy in that sense.
Yeah.
That's interesting you say that. That'll come up later.
But your pruny fruit is what I think you're attributing to cassis, and you just haven't identified that yet.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's move on next to mouthfeel.
Ooh.
So mouthfeel, I thought it felt dry. I like dry wines, and I enjoyed that. So I did give it a little bit higher score than previous. I gave it a 17. But again, other than that, it felt dry. I liked the feel of it, but it wasn't, to me, something that really stood out.
So I'll follow you on that one. I also gave it a 17, same as you. It hit me right on the front on the mouth. It hits me as bitter. It's just a bitter acceptance right on the beginning. It's nice and thick. Coverage is good all over my tongue. I kind of get it everywhere. I couldn't find anything else words-wise in it for me. There's just subtle things in there. It's kind of what I expected. It's definitely not one of my favorite kind of grape blends.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something in it that just doesn't hit me exactly, maybe. It's not something I would choose. So, but yeah, initially on the front bitter, I just got like a bittery bite to it.
Okay.
So more than I expected. By
Yeah, that actually, when you say that, get another sip, I can kind of.
yeah, that's maybe what I would put the word for.
What about you, Zach?
Yeah, so for mouthfeel, I thought this was a very strong category for the wine. I gave it a 22 in particular. The thing that draws me to this wine more than anything is, despite the fact that the wine is very dry, as it's got good acidity, it's got good body to it, the tannins in the wine are quite tame and very round on the palate. It's not quite Caymus, juicy, fruity nonsense, but I think for the wine drinker, this is like a step above Caymus when you're heading into what is like the traditional Napa Valley Cabernet. It's still very soft, but it's not just juicy, fruity nonsense. Caymus is great, don't get me wrong, but this is just right above it.
All right. So that then brings us to the flavor. So Zach, why don't you start us off on this?
Hey, I like talking. So I went ahead and I thought that this is the strongest category for the wine. I gave it a score of 24, nearly perfect for what I'm experiencing out of the wine, with notes of pomegranate, cherry, fig, allspice, tobacco, and plum. So in addition to all those dark, heavy fruits, you get some good California sunshine in here with the pomegranate, the cherry. I think the allspice and the cherry can kind of play into like spiced cherries, like out of a jar in a sense of that regard. But you're getting lots of dark fruit. The Petit Verdot and Malbec do a lot to this wine to give it those darker qualities. And then the tobacco, honestly, I think this would be a great mild cigar wine in that respect. Like, have this outside, big old flank steak.
All right, I
big
know what I'm
old
doing after tonight. I have nice mild cigars right in my room waiting to go.
There you go.
This one sort of lost on me. I only rated it 17. The best I could give for flavor was balanced grape flavor, like a balanced grape wine flavor. I couldn't go anything off. I was searching for like, where do I go with the words for it?
Yeah.
Just what I was thinking. It just doesn't hit my tongue quite right. I don't know. For me, it's just, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I finished it. Look, I'll keep going through it and just trying to. I'm still as Ristudo. I'm just trying to find the word there and what I can like in it, or maybe one particular thing I don't like in it. I can't give either one a direct word. So it's just, I'm too amateur for this. For this bottle, I'm probably too amateur.
Same here. I'm amateur in all of it, so I'm right there with you on this. And you and I match yet again. I also give it a 17. I kind of tasted a little bit, I guess I would describe it as like dirt or earth or moss, kind of like that, an earthen, bit of a flavor to it. And I think maybe that's that, the pencil box or whatever you're talking about, coming through. And because you mentioned that kind of, and that is what I had down. Like I said, I gave it a 17 as well. I thought it was good, but I couldn't really pick out much more than that. And that's kind of how I am. But I did enjoy it. All right. That brings us up finally to the finish. So for the finish, this is where I rated it the highest. For me, I give it a 19 because everything going into it, the way it stays with me, there's something about it, and I can't really name it or describe it. I don't have the words for it, but I want to try it again. I want to drink it again. It gives me that feeling of, I like that. I like that.
It doesn't turn me. It doesn't turn you away.
No,
it's like I don't want any more of that. Like,
yeah,
it's not unapproachable.
Exactly,
it's approachable.
It's okay. I'm satisfied with that. I would like to do that again. That's what I got on.
May I have another?
Yes. Exactly.
All right, so let's pass back to me. I'm lower than you here. I gave it a 17. I think a lot of this falls back on my inexperience with this, what to expect from this product, and where these products can go bad and where they can go good. So I just put in there, it's smooth. I find it smooth experience. It's a smooth experience. It's not harsh.
Mm-hmm.
It's a smooth experience. It's a little bit strong in the mid flavoring. When I'm getting it, I get this it describes me just a little bit wrong, kind of in the middle. The front, what I get on the kind of what we were calling earlier, that hay bale, kind of prune fruit sort of an approach. Then in the middle, it's kind of like a harsh, acidic-y, kind of bitter sort of thing for me. And on the back, I think it stayed. It probably is what helps is it stays with you. It feels thick enough on your mouth. It stays with you to the end. That the experience there, 17 for me for this one.
All right. Zach?
Well, to finish us out, I gave it a score of 22. Once again, I feel that this is a very strong category for the wine. The biggest thing with this is that refreshing, cleansing acidity. You're right. You want to go back for another. This is something that as the tannins leave your mouth and the acidity washes you through, your tongue's a little starch. You're wanting to get something juicy in your mouth. You had this with a big, fat lunk of meat. Be doing great. Otherwise, I just want to have another glass.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. That is the 2018 Bravante Cabernet Sauvignon that we gave a score of 70 overall. We hope that whatever you're drinking, you enjoy. Cheers, everybody.
Let's launch up.
Cheers.